Hello everyone, welcome to Vishnu IS. My name is Vijay Kumar. So, we have already discussed up with what are the questions which have appeared in the geography. In this particular lecture, we would be discussing about those questions which have appeared in environment. So, environment doesn't only has the category of only ecology and environment, but it also consists of questions from geography included. So, there is combination of all these things. So we would be seeing what are these questions clear. So in one such a way, if you see, this is the first question which has been, it is the question number 100 in the set B, related with the biochar in the farming. Clear. So whenever we speak about biofuels, whenever we speak about biochar, so this particular statement comes into picture, and this biochar was also in news. If you see, this can be particularly biochar can be used as part of growing medium in vertical farming. Generally vertical farming, which in the present day context, which has most demand, especially in the urban centers. So this was in news in the geography and U article. Clear. In the month of February and January, this biochar was in news, hence the question has appeared from that particular session. So this is one particular aspect where you can focus upon. So it is currently like contemporary aspect from where the question generally has appeared. Clear. So you can easily resume this question. So by reading the current affairs, you can easily solve it. This is not the toughest part to solve this particular aspect. So biochar can be used as part of growing medium in vertical farming. This statement is true. So when biochar is part of growing medium, it promotes the growth of nitrogen fixing microorganisms. That is also absolutely true. So when we know the concept of biochar, all these statements can easily answer. So biochar is also a part of growing medium. It enables the growing medium to retain water for longer time. So whenever we use vertical farming in especially urban centers, so very limited amount of water would be available over there. So water retaining capacity would be provided by this particular biochar. Clear. So hence all the three statements which are given in this particular range are absolutely true. Clear. If you see, like we have discussed related with biochar, clear, in our material, whenever we try to discuss, we discuss these particular aspects, is found in soil around the world as a result of vegetation, fires and historical soil management. If you see this particular second statement, it is a soil enhancer. Along with that, we also have discussed related with this particular biochar in various aspects, and also we have discussed about agricultural benefits. So this is a right away question from the news, and also it is a right away question from the notes perspective. Clear. So please try to get on to this particular biochar thing. You will 100% benefiting in this particular aspect. So most probably many people might have not covered this, but as a part of current affairs, we have covered this particular statement. Clear. So the next question related with coal ash or fly ash content. Clear. So consider the following statements. If you see, coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. So this is also a direct thing. Whenever you read about coal ash, clear, whenever the coal would be burnt, the ash which is present, that particular ash content would be having arsenic, lead and mercury. So one statement is absolutely true. So B and C here would be eliminated directly. Along with that, if you see, coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen into the environment. Yes, this is also absolutely true. So coal-fired power plants, wherever we would be seeing around India, in those regions, the sulfur dioxide content and the oxides of nitrogen are very much high, which are released into the atmosphere. So this option number 2 might be somewhat clumsy in nature, that we can't prove exactly this is true or false. So moving on to third option, keeping option 2 as whole. If you see, high ash content is observed in Indian coal. So this is a basic thing which is also mentioned in NCERTs as well. Option number 1 and option number 3, they are directly mentioned in NCERT. Maybe ho sakta hai, like in this particular question, option number 2 you might not know. But still, by knowing 1 and 3, you could easily justify the statement as 1, 2 and 3. Clear? Because here we don't find any 1 and 3 option. 1 and 3 are combinedly present in D. So in that basis, 2 becomes a perfectly right option. So despite of not knowing the 2 option also, you can easily gather this. Clear? If you could see, fly ash particles are oxide rich and consist of silica. Here if you see, they release a heavy toxic metals like lead, arsenic, cobalt and copper. Clear. So this is one of the most important statements which you have to remember. On that basis you can solve half of the question. Clear. And the third option which is present, that is common thing which everyone would be knowing. So 1 and 3 if you know, then 1, 2, 3 becomes the option for you. Clear. So we can see India's coal is poor quality coal. Clear, with less carbon and high ash content. You can see this particular statement over here. Please here. This is also from our personal notes itself. Clear. So now this becomes somewhat tricky in nature. Clear. So which of the following are most likely places to find musk deer in its natural habitat? While discussing the important concepts related with the environment, we have dealt with this particular musk deer. Simple, musk deer is one such kind of aspect which grows in the high elevated regions. Clear. So if you see Gangotri National Park would obviously be at the high altitude region. So 2 is perfectly right. Kishanpur Wildlife Sanctuary, it is in Uttar Pradesh. Manas National Park, it is in Assam. Assam region we won't find high elevated region, so you can eliminate 3 and 4 directly. If you eliminate 3 and 4, the rest of the option would be 1 and 2. Many people might not know about Askot Wildlife Sanctuary. If you see, we have dealt many things related with the musk deer. So it is also called as Himalayan musk deer, or it is also called as white-billed musk deer. So whenever we were discussing about musk deer, we have seen its flora content. If you see this particular statement here, this particular musk deer, the Hungul, 3 of the goral species which are present in high altitude region, it is most important. Do remember this particular point, promoting the conservation of high altitude species such as snow leopard as well. So on this particular basis, these particular things, high altitudes of India which has more than 3000 meters of elevation, in those regions we would be finding musk deer. If you see in this particular 2 statements, Gangotri National Park is present, Kishanpur is in Uttar Pradesh, Manas is in Assam. These 2, when you know, you can eliminate this because these are Terai regions. Hope you know what Terai region in the Great Plains are. So 3 and 4 option absolutely eliminated, and 1 and 2 becomes somewhat critically the perfect answer accordingly. So by this logical approach you can solve this question. Clear. So here, like, which of one of the following protected areas is well known for conservation of subspecies of Indian swamp deer, that is Barasingha. Barasingha was in news because it was under the endangered list. Clear. If you see, Barasingha is one of the most important aspect. Here there would be confused between 2 important things like Manas National Park and Kanha National Park, and Mudmallai Wildlife Sanctuary, Talchappar Wildlife Sanctuary are absolutely out of the range. The only thing which we can decide is from Kanha and Manas National Park. If you read the entire question, that thrives very well in hard ground and is exclusively graminevorous. So in this particular regard, Kanha National Park comes into picture. So this 99.9% it is perfectly true. B option is also true because when you check out Manas National Park, there also you will be finding Barasingha. But especially Kanha National Park is dedicatedly designed for this particular Barasingha. Clear. If you see habitat of this particular Barasingha or swamp deer, it is located in isolated localities in northern and central India and southwestern Nepal. So if you could observe this particular statement, isolated localities in northern and central India, absolutely it becomes Kanha National Park. There is no justification of southern India at all. Now, here also through logical approach you can follow this question, because I have been discussing related with the national parks. If you see my previous videos on this particular Vishnu IAS channel, please subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon so that you can get the continuous notifications. उसमें जब हम देखें, whenever we have seen that particular regions, I have said question might come from biosphere reserve. They might give one particular biosphere reserve and they might ask which of the following national parks and wildlife sanctuaries are located over there. So this I am not claiming it directly, but with minimum amount of knowledge, if you see Papikonda National Park which is present, that is present in Andhra Pradesh. Papikondalu is one of the tourist location, eco-tourist spot locations within the Andhra Pradesh. So this doesn't have any connection with Kaveri Basin. So eliminate 2 directly. So wherever you would be finding 2 as option, eliminate it. A and D would be eliminated. Now 1, 3, 4 you have to check out. Nagarhole National Park, it is in Kaveri Basin. Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve and Wayanad National Wildlife Sanctuary also are present. These are somewhat nearly located to the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. So instead of giving Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, he has given Kaveri Basin. So just they have twisted the question. Nothing much to know about it. If you know that Kaveri Basin extends over the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala and Union Territory of Pondicherry, this would become very much easy, because in Andhra Pradesh, Kaveri Basin is not extended. So Papikonda National Park, which is present in Andhra Pradesh, it doesn't have any connection with this. This also we can eliminate it. Here there is a bit confusion in this particular question. If a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972, what is its implication? This Wildlife Protection Act also we have discussed related with 1972. I have asked you to remember those animals which are present in Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and plants which are present in this particular Schedule 6. This option is, according to me, I also think that A option is also right. A license is required to cultivate that plant, but this is somewhat I am not justifying option number A. So option number B, according to my senses, it is 90% true, but don't know, we may have some other option given by UPSC, because interpretation of question might be something else, right? So this I am giving it as option B, but I think option A might also be right. Many other institute keys also have given A as an option, but I am choosing B as option. So A I am eliminating it, but it may also happen that UPSC key may release and A might become the option for it. Clear? Here we have a bit confusion regarding with it. So Wildlife Protection Act, whenever you would be reading, you have to read about Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, as well as you have to see about Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 as well. These are highly important. No doubt at all you have to read about Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So this was somewhat a conflicting question, where like tensiometer use and legume intensification, this appears somewhat not effective. See, vertical farming is absolutely eco-friendly agriculture, that I agree. Crop diversification is also eco-friendly agriculture, because when we diversify the crops, the retainment of nutrient facility, the retainment of soil productivity would be very much high. So accordingly, if you don't know 2 and 3 option even, you can choose 1 and 4, because you know 1 and 4. When you know 1 and 4, in option A we don't have 1 and 4, in option B you don't have 1 and 4, in option C you only have 4. So in that particular regard, 1, 2, 3, 4 becomes the perfect option. So 2 and 3 are somewhat typical in nature, which you don't know, but still by knowing 1 and 4, you can easily keep this answer as D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Clear? And there was also some issue related with this particular aspect. Clear? So I think I have missed option 6 over here. Clear? No issues. So there was a question related with the biofuels. Many people have doubt with this horse gram and groundnuts as well. The option which I have missed, that is groundnuts. Clear? So like in this particular context, according to me, whenever I read Indian National Bio Policy, I have read that all these aspects are used as raw materials for the production of biofuels. Cassava, damaged wheat grains, horse gram, groundnuts, rotten potatoes, sugar beet, all these would be used, but many have given 1, 2, 5, 6 as option. They have eliminated horse gram and groundnuts, but I don't think so that it is that much perfect. You have all the options which can be used as raw materials for the production of biofuels. Please do remember this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the options which are given in this particular question, they are absolutely true. Now, this is also one of the most important aspects which is in news: social cost of carbon. Clear? It is a measure in the monetary value of long-term damage done by ton of CO2 emissions in a given year. Generally A and B comes into picture, but absolutely A becomes perfect option. social cost of carbon, whenever you would be reading that particular topic, you can understand it is a measure that what damage, long-term damage is done by the ton of CO2 emissions in a given year, that is social cost of carbon. So carbon का जो social cost है वो how much it is damaging in the monetary value, that is most important. If you see requirement of fossil fuels for the country to provide goods and services to its citizens based on burning of those fuels, this is not appropriate answer, but many institute keys have given B as option, but we shall go with A, that is absolutely true. And this is also one of the important aspects whenever you read about Project Tiger and tiger reserves in India. All these are important tiger habitat zones of India, but the largest one, we have the largest tiger project of the world, that is Amrabad Tiger Reserve, which is present near to the Nagarjun Sagar and Srisailam. So in this, just 1 minute. So in this particular aspect, whenever we would be discussing about Nagarjuna Sagar and Srisailam project, it is India's, not only India's, it is world's largest tiger reserve zone. Please do remember this particular point. It is highly important. Whenever you would be reading about these aspects, you have to define it clear. If you see Nagarjuna Srisailam Tiger Reserve, it is the largest tiger reserve in India. It forms major part of Nallamala Hills. There we have Srisailam Reservoir and Nagarjuna Sagar Dam on Krishna rivers. And Srisailam is one of the religious places which are present in the Andhra Pradesh state. So this is highly important. If you could see within this Andhra Pradesh, we have Papikonda National Park as well. So Andhra Pradesh se question, it was 2 questions have come. By the knowledge of that particular 2 aspects, you can solve 2 particular questions. Clear? So this was a bit confusing in nature. Directly what I say is Central Groundwater Authority was found under Environment Protection Act 1986. This is absolutely true, no doubt at all. And India has the largest area under groundwater irrigation in the world. This is also true. If you refer any of the notes, these 2 statements would be present. Yes, statement 1 might be true, might not be true, but 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 are not present in the option, so we can directly choose up with 2 and 3. See these kind of 36%, 38%, 129 meters, 234 meter, such kind of options when they appear in UPSC blindly, they would be wrong. You please do remember this particular cheat code. So if you see when reference to India's desert national park, which of the following statements are correct? See, many people, while they remember about different national parks, they will skip this particular statement. Generally, they are present in Jaisalmer and Barmar districts of Rajasthan. So we have directly given this statement in this particular notes. If you see, Desert National Park, which is present in Rajasthan, it is situated near the towns of Jaisalmer and Barmar districts. ये districts हैं, clear. And major fauna which is present here, it is a great Indian bustard, which is under critically endangered list, clear. So absolutely, when you know these 2 statements 1 and 3, clear, they are perfectly true. And ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, that cannot happen, that in national park no human habitation inside the park is present. No, we have many human habitation, tribal settlements over there. So option 2 would be like a direct impractical statement. So human habitation would be present. It's not like no human habitation would happen over there. So option 2 can be eliminated. 1 and 3 are absolutely true. Directly from the notes, this question we can claim it up. Clear? So if you see in rural road construction, this question was asked under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Generally, when they were using this particular rural road construction, which of the following is preferred as ensuring environment sustainability or to reduce carbon footprint? So in this regard, if you see, 1, 2, 3 options are absolutely true. 4 and 5 are not true. Portland cement, if they are using, they are not having any environment sustainability. So 5 option, whichever, wherever they would be present, like C and D are absolutely false. You have to choose between A and 3. And hot mix assault technology is not that good when compared to cold mix assault technology, because for environmental sustainability, it is cold mix assault technology which would be used. 1, 2, 3 in this particular statement are absolutely true. Clear? So India's position related with carbon footprint was present. So on that basis, they have asked this particular question. And one more question we had related with steel slag. which can be used for the material for which of the following? Many people have said it as 1 and 2. They have said it as production of cement doesn't happen, but with steel slag production of cement can also takes place. Construction of base road, improvement of agricultural soil, production of cement, all these three can happen absolutely, no doubt at all in this particular regard related with steel slag. Which of the following reasons factors for exposure to benzene pollution? So this benzene pollution is one such kind of typical statement like where we can't find out the exact answer for it. Clear? So if you see automobile exhaust, tobacco smoke, wood burning, using varnished wooden furniture, using products made of polyurethane, all these are true. But this is out of box question. Clear? No one have expected related with the benzene pollution, and we also don't know the exact reason why they have asked the question. We are not claiming it. We have not discussed in the class as well. But ho sakta hai like they might have been somewhere the presence of benzene pollution in the news. So there are chances that they might ask the question from that particular section. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are absolutely true regarding with this. And this is somewhat a mystery question where many people might have not answered it. But going with somewhat the names, white-throated redstart, coppersmith barbet, grey-chinned minivet, Ceylon frogmouth, whenever we visit zoological parks, clear, we might have visited zoological parks in many districts, many places of India. So there if you see the bird names are somewhat typical in nature. Like, you can't remember once you read it off and leave it off, right? So in that particular context, all these India's biodiversity, when you compare, these bird species are very much important. Whenever you go to zoological park, next time you see, you will find Ceylon frogmouth, coppersmith barbet, grey-chinned minivet and white-throated redstart. So this is a bird species. This no one has covered and no one know from where the question has also come. But if I were present in your position writing the examination, by seeing the names, if I have to guess, I might have written the guess answer as birds itself. Clear? Wo guess to like I would do with the logical approach, we can do it very efficiently. And this is also one typical question whereby many people don't know what exactly it is. But eliminating, because I know many people, they still now think that Kerala is having the highest elephant population, and many people even think Assam is having highest population, but it's not true. It is Karnataka which has highest elephant population, because on the basis of Onam festival, when we think this particular fourth statement as absolutely true. So fourth statement is not true. It is Karnataka which has the highest number of elephant population. So option B and D can be eliminated. Only it rests with A and C. An elephant can normally go on calving till the age of 40 years only. No, this doesn't happen. It has more age census. Along with that, like that leader of elephant group is female. Obviously, in our human beings also female would be dominating. And the maximum gestation period can be 22 months. This is also true. So when we read related with the ecological pyramids, we can read about the elephant. Clear? The issue which has happened in the Kerala where the firecracker, where the female elephant has died. Hope you remember that. From that particular background, they have asked this particular question. So 1 and 2 becomes absolutely true for this particular question. Done. So these are the questions which appeared from the environment and combined with geography. I have also dealt geography questions like which only appeared from geography session itself. So if you have liked this video, please give a like, please subscribe to our Vishnu IS channel, and 100% this channel would be helping you. Along with that, please click on the bell icon. You would be getting continuous notifications. Clear? Thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind. We will be coming back with many other aspects. Thank you.